What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 9 of the Talon Talk podcast. My name's Cloudy. We're here to recap an exciting week with you guys. Are you really ready? I am not sure. I'm not sure if we're ready. With me today, I've got Callum and Lucky here, as usual. What's up, guys?
Hey,
Oh,
bud.
sorry, I wasn't ready.
Callum's never ready. And our special guest this week is Lolli. What's up?
Hi.
So just a little bit of a just a little bit of a precursor here. I was on vacation. Lucky's been busy. Callum's just Callum. So
Fuck you guys. Nah.
So that being said, I literally have not watched a single match, not even my own. I've been insanely busy. So
Great captain.
yeah.
At least I actually attend my own match.
Hey, man's on vacation. Come on now. Dude.
Yes, for me on vacation.
No excuses. You need dedication. Set an example for
Literally,
your players.
The plane landed last night, and I had to wake up like 8 hours after that to go to work. So I was not in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't even get the day off? That's toxic.
No. So I have been. I'm running on like nothing right now. But anyway,
No excuses, Cloudy. Your players
we're
are
gonna recap. We're gonna recap last week's matches. I hear there's a lot of 4-0s.
In record-breaking time, may I add.
It's like the 1 week we don't predict 4-0s. They're all 4-0s.
Yep.
When we do predict 4-0s, there's barely any 4-0s.
Exactly. And then after that, we're going to obviously do the power rankings, and we're going to take a look at the playoff rankings and the standings and where everybody's at, talk about what teams are in for sure, what teams are out of it. We still got 2 weeks left, so there's still some moving around to do there. And then after that, as we usually do, we'll go over our predictions and talk about this week's games. Anything else you guys want to say? Any news you guys got? You guys good? All right, good. Great silence
I
here.
mean, I wasn't insulted this week, so I've got nothing to say.
Yeah, Callum's gonna have to just not much. He is he's
You know
not.
what? You know what, guys? When you guys are actually leading the predictions leaderboard, then you guys can speak as much as I do.
I'm like 1 point
Then
behind.
you- I don't care. I'm still winning.
All right.
Still winning. Still number one.
But you still lost. So
Yeah, you
Wait,
kind of
what?
just let
What was
yourself
that
hung out to
guy?
dry, to be honest.
What was that, Cloudy? Sorry, you cut out for me.
you lost 4-0. So
Yeah, that's because Sim fucking bastard.
Anyways, let's jump right in. I don't think I have any major news or anything for this week. Yeah, so let's jump into recaps here. Let's look back at last week's matches, and we will start it off here with Aftermath versus Eclipse. Aftermath won this match 4-0 and continue on their streak there. Like I said, have not even seen this game, so if anybody's got any, that would be great.
There were players,
You awkward
players got
silence.
kills, and it was a 4-0. I'm not gonna lie.
This is
I didn't
what
see
happens
either.
when you get told about 3 hours before the podcast. That's actually when I saw the pain for the fact we were recording tonight. That it's actually happening. This is what happens.
Yes.
This is what happens when you don't see 24 hours before.
So yeah, there were players, and players killed players, and the game
Points
ended
were
in
captured.
4-0. Yes.
And Clean Poopy
yeah.
just outperformed everybody.
Yeah, obvious.
Always.
That's an obvious one right there.
I'm actually glad we've been able to shout Clean Poopy out every podcast. I hope they actually watch it, because it'd be so disappointing if they don't.
I will have to make sure on that one. But yeah, I don't know what else much to say about this one. Other than like standings wise, Eclipse had a chance to jump up in the standings and make a point, and they're currently sitting outside of the playoffs. So we'll talk about that.
It's not
A little bit
mathematically impossible.
It's not impossible yet, but they could they need maps and to get forward helping their situation right now. speaking of
Yeah,
teams that got 4-0'd, Zen's Garden versus Shimada Samurai.
No, we don't have to go over this. We don't. It's like, nah.
No.
Honestly, I don't want to sound like a sole loser here, but I'm still gonna say it for the extra spice.
You're probably going to sound like one. It's okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now anyway. I just want to say to my team, I'm not disappointed in a single one of you guys. My disappointment, in fact, does lie with Sense, because we were going into this game. For starters, we didn't have either Shannon or Ashley, who are main supports, because they couldn't make it. We had two off-tank mains playing support and one off-tank main playing DPS, because we had to to actually be able to book a game. But going into it anyway, we were so excited for Sen's game, because we thought all four was going to be a super high skilled game. We had Karisu and Woodballs just talking to each other, saying how hyped they were. We were like, I was excited for the Ryan versus Ryan battle with Woodballs. We were excited for the DPS players to actually be able to play people they enjoy, because Sense have never been a team to run cheese. And we get into the game, and 80% of the game they're playing Sim Bastion. Every map they ran Sim Bastion at least once.
You know what that's called, though?
That's called being cheesed.
No.
And I don't give a fuck
called,
if it's meta.
That's
It's
called...
only meta if the other team's also playing the meta in double shield.
Nope, it's called playing the game to win, and that is what they did, and they got a 4-0 because of it.
Even though I'd love to point out, like, every caster was
They
like
threw out their
absolutely giving
dignity.
abuse to bad luck, saying "Get off Bastion, you're throwing." That's all they kept saying.
Lolli, do you want to give him some coaching? Maybe?
What?
I mean, he was not even using the shield half. Like, you know how you don't usually use shields sometimes? He was ignoring Woodball's shield, man. He was ignoring it. And the amount of times on Icon mode especially, we knew where he was, because we had a Sombra scouts in him. So all I had to do was jump out and then just pin him instantly. And it was hilarious when we actually got through the choke.
A certified
You don't have
qualification
to
in
use a
Lolli's
shield.
Bastion.
Shields are
What?
optional in this meta.
Certified
I want to give them
qualification
credit
on
for
Bastion.
Ilios, though. This being said, I want to give them credit for Ilios well. Their positioning on Ilios well was genius and really well done. So I give them credit for that. Play smart like that, and Sens is a mad team. Run cheese. You're gonna get called out on a podcast and go talk to fuck yourselves.
Now we can call
That's
you
how
out.
it goes.
Now we're gonna call you out and do the same thing.
Hey. You guys call me a dickhead pretty much every week. I'm used to it by now.
You're pretty much right. Anyway, let's move back past this dumpster fire here and continue on to another one in Valk's Descent versus TLM.
Oh dear.
We are on our way here. Let's recap Valk's Descent versus TLM. Valk's Descent winning 4-0 against TLM, and it kind of was definitely a surprise to me, because TLM I thought were pretty strong, and I mean obviously with the Ginger situation, losing him was a big issue, and they have some internal issues going on. But other than that, I think they still had a lot of talent on their team, and I did not expect them to get 4-0'd. But that being said,
No, like, to be
They
honest,
did give it good though. Like the two maps we did play, they didn't seem like they gave up, which I did expect after our 45-minute wait to start. But
hey,
they still gave it their all.
yeah.
But no, like,
What's the record for the most delayed game?
ooh,
Probably that one.
probably. No, it's just
Someone
literally, I
that
tried
was-
pinging staff and I just couldn't get anyone. And then Chaos
That's
arrives
why
like,
I messaged Chaos.
Oh, calling out staff now. Oh,
Well, no, everyone was busy. There were so many games. I was like, we're not going to get staff at this
Yeah.
time. Everyone was so busy. But no, to be fair,
you guys
like,
were told to be fair.
I got to like obviously cast this match. Well, I wouldn't really call it cast. Me and Chaos pretty much just started being toxic. But anyway, it literally, now, and Lolli, I say this, I don't say this to offend your team or anything like that, but it felt like it was a new polished VD versus what VD has been like. Because you just seen TLM completely just all over the shop. And it literally just looked like I don't know. You could have probably said something before the game, and whatever you told him or whatever he have done in this week has definitely kind of brought the team a little bit more together. They were more organized, and as I said, TLM just looked like what VD were beforehand, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
I was looking at TLM saying like exactly what you said, Cloudy. TLM, or you looked at this team, you're like, good roster, it's a good team, it's a good go fair, but it isn't.
Yeah, we were worried.
Just to
we
clarify,
did
you guys were the ones that had them free, not me.
Yeah, and the other thing, we were just talking about it before we started recording here. But we looked back at the week 1 power rankings, which is kind of funny. But looking at it, Valk's Ascent came in as second on the power rankings in week 1, and I mean, they really have stuck together for most part. Ollie, you can obviously talk to that, but I think Valk's Ascent obviously have a lot of talent, and seeing them come together is definitely, it's nice to see. Lolli, what do you want to say about that one?
Yeah, like obviously we did the playoffs last season, which was a surprise considering everything that happened at the beginning of Midgard. At one point I didn't think there would be a Valks, but
Yeah.
I think after obviously Bolter helping me out getting the recruits in, Losky got a couple people in, and it was just a case of getting my team to a point where it's more where we play together, we hang out a lot, we do more things together that aren't strictly Overwatch. And whenever anyone's ever come to me to be like captain advice for some god knows why, it's still the same. Like, I always treat my team as if they're my family. They're not just my players that I can trade, and they're not just there for my benefit. And I think it helps to have a close team. And recently we've all been playing together a lot, and it showed.
I will say that I'm not in many teams' Discords, but I am not even joking. Valkyrie's bloody Discord is like spam control.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys still have a text channel called Callum's Memes back when I was
It's so dead. It's so dead.
Yeah, that's because I've been captain now. I'm actually busy. Okay.
Well, we can keep it in case you ever want to drop a meme in. Like, once you're in Valks, you're always in Valks. Like, I never kick anyone from our server.
Then,
like, we've got over 30 at the minute. Like, once you're in, you're in.
Rather than rename that, you just created a new meme server called Blitz's Memes. Rather than just rename mine, and it's like, yes!
No, he didn't want to share.
No, that's...
Alright, I think I got a challenge meme. Blitz.
Alright, okay, we're getting a little off topic, but let's...
No, Lolli did hit a few good points there where, like, I mean, obviously with Aftermath, I've been on Aftermath since Season 1, and Season 1 Aftermath were literally last place. Last season, we kind of started climbing a little bit, and then we kind of built this core of players that we have now where, like Lolli was saying, we do things outside of Aftermath, outside of Overwatch. We do things outside, like, you know, we're all friends, we're great friends, almost like family, and building that chemistry with one another can obviously go a very, very long way. And when you have a bunch of new players coming in, it's hard to sometimes put them all together and see it come together easily, as, you know, some of you guys probably have seen before. But yeah, it's definitely, that's probably, if I had to pick the number one most important thing of like running a team, it's building a proper community within your team and how far that can go. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about this match here?
No, not really. But it's a good. It's, you know what? Honestly, if with this result, VD can definitely look at this like as a way of moving upward. Like, for instance, a good example is GG. Look at them; they're doing insanely well now after their first win. Yeah. So who knows? It could be something that VD might be able to take advantage of this. Like, I can't remember who VD are actually against for the rest of the season, but hey, give it a shot.
Yep.
It's Genjutsu and then Zen's Garden.
Ooh, okay.
Enjoy a Bastion Sim, Lolli.
We'll be running it as well.
Oh my god.
Inside strat leaked.
Oh my god.
We got a Battle of the Bastions coming.
The Battle of the Bastions. Oh, Battle of the
I've never heard such a toxic sentence before.
I want Chaos casting that game. That's definitely.
Oh god.
All
No,
Let's
they
get
right.
off on
got
that game.
this. They got this. They're lovely.
All right. Well, let's move on to our Division 2 matches here. The first one we have on our list here is Glass and Foot versus Dark Mount, and this one probably went as planned, and none of us were surprised by this result. Like,
Dark Mountain won 4-0, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. That's why.
Solid team.
That's what we all expected. Um, now, Glass and Foot winning 4-0. That's pretty standard there.
Yeah, like if it was like 3-1, you'd be shocked in a way.
Yeah.
I don't mean that to dishearten this DR, but like it's
No, just Glass and Foot is just so good.
yeah.
And
Because they're spicy, you know. They're all. I have my opinions about Glass and Foot, but I think
Lolli,
they're
if you have
all
anything
stinky little
to add to
smurfs.
Spice, if you have any spice to add,
Said the S word.
throw it down.
Well, I feel like I'm allowed to. Like,
Oh yeah, this is a podcast. Take a leaf from my book. Just throw all the shade you want at the spice.
like legit knows
Make it
that
more
I love him,
spicy than a
but
Dutch spice trade.
I do find them very spicy. The fact that they can 4-0 anybody,
yeah,
and you know, when you look at their comps and stuff, it's it's nothing magical. Like anyone else could run them, but if you tried to do the same as Glass and Foot, you're not going to be able to pull it off. Which I've tried. I've tried to steal every strat they've ever pulled, and
Every week is I've been
like-
watching their streams. I know what they do.
I do a lot of
But bear in
spying on
mind,
Glass and Foot.
Like Glass and Foot scrim almost every day. I think they have
Yeah.
at least 3 scrims a week. So you gotta bear that in mind as well.
yeah,
I mean,
And they've
they
been
must
together
have
for
no
so long.
social lives whatsoever.
yeah. Most of that core has been together for a while. Like we were talking about earlier, it's kind of that same thing. And they you said about the strats, they just have like the raw talent to be able to do stuff like that, and it shows. It definitely shows. But yeah, anything you want to talk about within the match here?
Oh, who was it? Was it the Ash
Was it-
player, Bigfoot?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was playing Ash, and I think it was Volskaya, and
Mhm.
he was popping off. Like they literally walked to the point. For some reason, they sort of strolled in one by one, and they gathered on the point, and he was on high ground and just literally popped them all off, killed them all in like one swoop. Headshots flying everywhere from him, and they didn't have some of their core. Like legit wasn't there. Bolter wasn't there. So, and Casual's not there anymore. So I
Yep.
feel like the 3 people they do rely on, which are kind of hard carries for them, weren't there. But it made no difference. Like, they still managed to pull it off like that. And it's like where Bolter would normally be, and him getting the magical kills he seems to pull off. And and then Bigfoot steps in and he does it. And it's like
Yeah.
just the raw talent from that team. No matter who turns up, you're gonna run away from them anyway. And then you've got Chaos and Serenity, which are like a evil duo, which can just kill you. Like, it's just a terrifying team to play against.
Yeah,
No,
for
yeah,
I
sure.
like-
want to see
when
a
I was-
Serenity Battle Mercy.
No, like when I was like one I can't remember, like, it was like probably about a week or 2 ago, like I was chatting to Bolter, and Bolter literally says it's a simple system that we have. Everyone's on the same page, and if everyone's on the same page, you're gonna get smoked. He's
Yeah.
like, we have a one system, we follow that system, and it works.
Yeah,
He's-
and they'd have the depth, as we've seen, to do anything, like to do it and
It's
do it well. So yeah, they're definitely a very strong team, and I hope that I don't have to play against them in the finals.
Oh, we still want that Aftermath Grass and Foot match, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
we'll do
still
that.
want-
If everything comes together well, we'll do a streamed friendly in the bye week.
This
And
would
that
be
will
like a Vancouver Titans versus San Francisco Shock. Like this is what
Carry, don't worry though. We'll get you prepared for a follow after you go against Armada. You'll be well prepared to get the follow.
I would like to see that. We will get there.
So would I. That's how you instantly get #1 spot for Glass and Foot. They can finally have it for the 1 week.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving here. Onto our next match. We have Republic Rebels versus Gala Gates, and this went a little bit different than we expected, and actually kind of like to see this. Gana Gates coming out 4-0. What do you guys think about this one?
Sure.
Well, we kind of touched on it. Pretty much, they're in like a reboot stage. It's like they need to gather everything that they have again and kind of get back on the way they were before. Obviously, the big debacle happened with RR, and I think like there is a few teams that are going through it. So it's just a case that they more than likely, as I said, probably like last week, is just simply just get back to fundamentals, focus on the small things, and just prepare for next season, because it's not looking so great right now for RR.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if Aura don't pick up their game, depending on how badly they lose, they could actually lose their playoff spot if Darkmount is able to win one game and then Aura loses the next two.
Oh, I mean, yeah, well, we're gonna take a look at the playoff spots in the standings in a little bit here, and yeah, it would like from where their position was 2 weeks ago, it'd be surprising to see them actually drop out of the playoffs. But Guyana Gates definitely making a statement here, and I mean, you look at the standings now, Guyana Gates in second place, and I would say like Guyana Gates is probably the second strongest team in that division. I mean, they're coming off a couple good weeks here, and they're putting some good wins together. So we'll see. I mean, they obviously beat Republic Rebels, who aren't in the best of states right now, but if they could keep putting things together and putting wins together in the last couple weeks here, then it's definitely possible.
Do you reckon they feed off the negative energy of the podcast?
Well, I mean, so Gana Gates plays against Eclipsed. That would definitely be
that would be a good game.
It would be a good game, and if Gana Gates can even I'd say if Gana Gates can even go 3-2 against Eclipse, I would take that as a win for Gana Gates. And then, unfortunately, Gana Gates in the last week play against Glass and Foot. So
4-0.
it is not.
No, sorry.
It's not a good last 2 weeks for them.
I mean, Rusky, do you want to throw a Hail Mary prediction out for that one?
Yeah, 6-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
or cough 7-2.
Yeah. Hey, look, you did that to yourself, man. I was going to bring it up.
I
thought you were gonna say it, but you didn't, so I had to say it. I'm just so broken right now. It's not good. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see how Gana Gates can do. If they can pull out, even if they lose the last couple weeks, they can still possibly make the playoffs, depending on how the rest of it shakes out. And if they could just win a couple maps and not get 4-0'd, I think they'd probably take that as a win in the last couple weeks here, where they're going up against really good teams. So let's keep it moving here, and we will go on to the last map of this match of the week. It is SDG versus Genjutsu, and maybe surprisingly, maybe not, but SDG come out with a 4-0 here, and it's another team that we like to see rise and have another chance to try to keep rising this week.
Imagine if SCG just go on a full win. Like, they win 4-0 every game.
I mean, so they play against TLM this week. With TLM the way it is right now, that could possibly, they could pull out a win there. And they played Dark Mountain the last week. If SDG, maybe can put on a couple good last ditch efforts here, I think, as we'll see in a little later, I think they're eliminated from the playoffs. Well, they're actually not eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh my god! Come on, SG. Oh no, wait, you're against TLM. Not a chance. Not a chance.
I just changed this week's prediction to a 4-0 for SCG. Just spat that in hope.
We'll talk about it later, but they're actually not out of the playoffs, and we'll get into that a little bit after their power rankings here. But anything you guys want to talk about this match here, SDG versus yes.
It's pretty much this battle was more a battle of the wooden spoon. Like, when I say wooden spoon, it's a term for like I don't mean to be like, oh, you're terrible or whatever. Like, I'm just saying this in the fact that you're both the like lowest ranked teams, and I thought honestly, like, being the two lowest, I thought it would be a lot closer, but it just shows that SDG are actually better than Gen at the moment, and it's kind of worrying because like when we always talked about SDG, we were kind of always talking about the issues they have, but now it just shows that maybe Gen has way more than what SDG has, and SDG have kind of copped on and they've kind of fixed what maybe their weaknesses were.
Yeah, and let's not forget that, like we talked about in the past weeks, even if you don't make the playoffs, there's still something to play for. So,
Exactly.
we're gonna keep. I'm cheering on SDG. On kind of like my under team that I'd like to see turn things
too.
around.
I see how it
I
is.
like
Right, let
them.
me change the aftermath prediction here now.
Yo, let's get you like.
No,
No, like-
Oh my god, if
Roxas-
I would love it.
Roxas is a great person, and he really wants to see this team succeed, and it kind of sucks sometimes when you want to see a team succeed so bad and it just doesn't work out. It can be kind of disheartening a little bit. So it's nice to see SDG kind of turn things around a little bit. And
He's done really well as a captain
Yes.
to not just be like, look, I'm done.
Yes,
Like people think we're so low and all the rest of it. Most other captains would have stepped down or been like, right, I give up.
yeah,
But the fact that he's still a captain, he's still doing it, he's still trying, and then he gets a 4-0. Like, give props to him. Like, I think
and we've
he's
seen
great.
it. Like we kind of saw like same thing with Genjutsu. We saw them just kind of put their hands up and say F it and just leave because they were like 0-3 at the time. And yeah, so it's definitely a situation that's good to see. Anything else you guys want to talk about from last week's games, or anything extra here?
Nothing really.
Yeah,
I think,
Okay.
to be honest, as we said, we haven't really watched them, so it's not like we can give you nail-breaking.
we have
Descriptions.
successfully bullshitted our way through the entire week.
I'm gonna wipe the sweat off my brow.
To be fair, it's no difference to the usual bullshit we spew.
Exactly.
Speak for yourself, Colin.
I'm sorry. Who's currently lowest on the prediction scoreboard? Sully.
Oh.
Uh-oh. There
See,
he is.
it always matters about the numbers to you, doesn't it?
Well, I'm gonna
It does when I'm winning.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut here.
Move along.
Yeah, let's
See, I love just making Callum boil up.
Right.
Anyway.
It's content. It may not be great content, but it's content.
Anyway, our power rankings this week. Last week in our power rankings, we didn't have much movement. It's a little bit different this week because we saw a couple teams literally drop out of where they were at, and that caused everybody to move up a couple spots. So we will get into it here. Top two teams, as they've been the entire season, except for like the first week, Aftermath and Glass and Foot. Not much to talk about there. They've been in that spot the entire season, so that's that. Next in third, we have Zen's Garden. We keep talking about it. We've talked about it last week. We talked about it the week before, where Zen's Garden's kind of coming in the perfect time to make a run for the playoffs. They continued. We said how big of a game it was against Shimada last week. Zen's Garden 4-0'd, continued their run, and it's a team that's going to be scary going into the playoffs. So we'll see how they can come out with that. Moving on here, we have Shimada at 4, and we have Eclipsed at 5. And those are two teams that lost, but if you look at it, they lost to teams that are in a better standing than they are, and although they got 4-0'd, they got 4-0'd against teams that are really good. So Shimada getting 4-0'd by Zens, I just talked about how good Zens look, and for some reason at the end of the season they seem to just put things together so well, and they just turn things on. You can call it maybe what do you call that after you win a championship, like a hangover after you win.
Yeah.
And you kind of you come out a little dry in the first couple weeks, but then you turn it up a little bit, and now they're kind of in that form. And then Eclipsed losing to Aftermath 4-0. Aftermath's been first all season. You can't expect the team to come out and just beat them easily. So that's why they have not dropped much out of their position. Moving on, we have Valk's Ascent coming in at 6th. And then we have the big dropper of the week here. It's TLM coming in at number 7. They were up at number 3 last week, so We all know the reasons of why they are where they are. They're getting a little reworked right now, but we'll see what happens with them. And then surprisingly, we have Gay on the Gates at 8 and SDG at 9. Two teams that are kind of rising out of those lower ranks. SDG getting a good win. Gay on the Gates getting a good win. We talked about those. They're two teams that will hopefully rise towards the end of the season here. And then to round up the bottom 3, we have Darkmount at 10, Republic Rebels at 11, and Genjutsu at 12. The only surpriser there might be Republic Rebels. I don't think that they haven't been able to bounce back from where they were at yet, and we'll have to see it going forward and see what comes out of that. But yeah, I don't see them. I could definitely see them falling out of the playoffs with the position they're in and their remaining games. It wouldn't surprise me. So that they're at 11, and that's our power rankings. Anything you guys want to say there? I feel like I've been talking for 10 minutes, but
I just want to say we're gonna get pinged once again in Talon, and I think we all know why. Take a guess why we're gonna get pinged, Lolli. Take a guess.
Oh, I don't know. Oh God, I don't want to know.
Because Glass and Foot's not number 1.
well, I mean,
Am I the only one that rings it actually and
Well,
reads my
no,
pings?
it's a case that this number 1 and number 2 have been the same all the way through. I honestly think the way we rank 1 and 2, I literally don't think it's first place is Aftermath, second place is Glass and Foot. For me personally, and it's every time it comes to making predictions or putting in our power rankings, it's simply for me. It's not first and second. It's tied first. It's these guys need to play, and then I'll be like, these guys are better.
yeah, exactly.
Howdy's just slowly sweating, wiping it away. It's like, please don't mention scrims. Please don't mention scrims.
No, I still hold true that it's kind of 1A and 1B, and no team is really second. I think it's two of the best teams in the league in two different divisions, and we won't be able to play each other, officially until, cross my fingers, but we won't be able to play each other until the finals. So it's hard to say which one's better when they haven't played each other and they won't play each other. So it's definitely just 1A, 1B for sure.
That would be a spicy finals, though.
the two top teams actually making it to the finals would be great. But usually there's one underdog, and we'll see if that holds true.
Drum roll, please, guys. Drum roll, please.
Not for you.
Yeah, I'll save you for it. I'll save you from it this time. I'll save you guys from it this time.
And I'll just mention here, Glass and Foot don't have the best record when under pressure, but that's all I'll say there.
Ooh, a little slight dig that we all know what you mean.
Guys, are we gonna have DMs from the captains from playoffs, each round of playoffs?
Yeah, we can.
And we'll read them out on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We did
that last season.
Kind of
like what we did for the end of last season.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, because I'm going to say Lizzie had the best DM. Even I was like, yeah.
Wait, when I was reading it before the podcast, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so we'll do something fun for the playoffs here. Talking about playoffs, let's move on to this section here. We're going to look at the standings and talk about that a little bit. First, let's talk about teams that are in the playoffs for sure. And looking at the standings, there are 3 teams that I can mention here that are totally in without a way to drop out. And it's Aftermath, it's Zen's Garden in Division 1, and then Glass and Foot in Division 2. Right now, Zen's Garden is sitting with 4 wins, with 10 map differential. It looks like that might be too big of a gap for Eclipsed to close that gap. So it looks like Zen's would definitely be in the playoffs no matter what. So right now, Zen's kind of hoping for Aftermath to lose a match so that they can hopefully try to take that number 1 spot. That's kind of where they're at right now, fighting for number 1. And in the other division, Glass and Foot, 5-0, and nobody's gonna really challenge them for that. It looks like. So it looks like actually looking at it, looks like Glass and Foot have clinched the number 1 spot. it looks like there's probably no way. Yeah, there's
Losing
no way
2
them.
games? Question mark? Possible?
What's that?
Oh no, sure, yeah, that wouldn't matter at all. Sorry, I'm talking up my ass.
Yeah, even if they lost 2 games, I don't think they could even drop out of that spot.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I mean.
they can't. It's actually impossible.
So, we'll see about that, and let's also look at the teams that are completely out of it. Those teams, it looks like, would be TLM and Valk's Descent in Division 1. From the looks of it here, it does not look like... I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. Don't quote me. Actually, that last spot in Division 1 is totally up for grabs.
Yeah, it is.
By every team. Yeah, I'm.
Did you hear that, TNM? We got a chance.
Both Lolli
Yeah, no,
and
Talon can't.
Lolli
If they win the next 2 matches, they have 3 games.
Yep, and if they win enough and offset whatever map differential, they'll take that spot. So
Oh,
Bear
all
in
to
mind,
play?
Shimada are going against Dark
yeah,
Mountain.
in order for either team to get that spot, Shimada would have to lose both matches and lose with enough map differential for them to take it over. So it's a long shot. It's probably a low percentage, but there is still mathematically a chance for them to make it.
Now, before Colin starts speaking on this, that means everybody give your full heart attempt. There is something to still play for.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
And we kind of saw Valks come out in 4-0 here, so there's definitely still a chance there. Lucky trying to turn around TLM, so there's still a chance there. And we will see.
I've just got even more reason for STG to root for SGG 4-0 here. Don't let me down, guys. Don't let me down.
I feel like there's like a love-hate relationship here.
That would imply you actually love me, silly.
No.
I'm not going to answer. All right, moving on, please.
Looking at Division 2, the only team that is definitely eliminated is Genjutsu. Every other team there can have a chance to make up that gap and fighting for 2 playoff spots in that division. So there's 2 playoff spots left, and there's 4 teams fighting for it there. So in Division 1, you have 1 spot left with 4 teams still fighting for it. So there is definitely a lot of fights going on there for playoff spots. And obviously, as we said, still stuff to play for here. So now that all being said, I'm gonna ask you guys something here. We're gonna go around here, and I want you guys to tell me in each division who you think are going to make the playoffs based on.
Is this people that haven't clinched it?
Yes. So obviously in Division 1, Aftermath and Zens are clinched, and in Division 2, Glass and Foot's clinched. So other than those,
honestly, it's Shimada.
well,
Like, I'm not like apart from me being Shimada. Think about it. We got 1 map against Dark Mount, which we should be winning. And Aftermath will be an easy 4-0 as well. So. Nah, but serious note, we'll definitely win 1. That's 4-2.
So here's the
and
thing.
In the worst case, we go 4-3.
Here's the thing.
Clips, maybe they win the next 2 games, then they would have to win 4-0 to overtake us. Both games.
Here's the reason I am gonna disagree.
And they're against Glass and Foot, which is unlikely they're gonna win against Glass and Foot.
You mean Eclipsed?
Yeah, they're Glass and
No,
Foot.
no.
Who are they against this week?
Eclipsed is against Guyana Gates.
Okay, so that can be close, but it's winnable.
And in the last week, Eclipse play against TLM. So I am going to go out.
Both going to be 4-0s?
I think if Eclipse put things together correctly, I think that Eclipse can take that last spot from Shimada because I think Shimada will lose against Aftermath. Even and this week, it would have to be Shimada losing 1 game and Eclipse winning out. And I think that is something that can reasonably happen, where Eclipse play 2 lower level teams in Guyana Gates and Eclipse, and then, and TLM, whereas Shimada play 1 team they could beat, and then they play a team that is going to be a hard win. So That's where I stand with that one.
One thing I
So
want to add.
go ahead.
Sorry, I've been trying not to talk over you the entire time. It's been so long because your mic keeps cutting out.
Oh, my mic.
Like, I think he's finished, and then suddenly he talks again. I was like, fuck! Alright, so one thing I want to bear in mind for the GG and Eclipse game is, bear in mind, Eclipse is on a 3-game losing streak. GG are on a winning streak. So, mentality-wise, that's got to have some effect in there as well. Well, I don't doubt Eclipse have the talent to beat GG. Mentally, I don't know whether they're going to be, like, they can either be on it, like, oh, we're on a slump, not really playing great together, or they might just be even more hungry to finally end that streak against a team they know they can beat.
Yep.
So, even though it is a winnable game for Eclipse, it's not 100%. Like, I can see GG winning against Eclipse.
Nah,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard one for me. Let's move on here. Lucky and Lolly, why don't you guys give me who you think are gonna make this one here?
Ladies first.
Oh, go ahead then.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yes,
It's
Lolly.
nice knowing you guys. I'm fucking done.
Yo, who's gonna be shutting up now, silly? Thank you, Lolly.
Oh my fucking god, there's two of you against me now. Fuck's sake.
Go ahead.
I fucking hate you, Lolly. Anyway, no, like I think Shimada will take it. They're a very strong team, but as I said, as you said, sorry, that they do have to play Aftermath, and we all know what Aftermath can do, and obviously they've been number one ranked. Well, yeah, tied number one ranked in my opinion the whole way through this season. So it's going to be a big I can't even speak. It's going to be like a big ask to like beat Aftermath, but I feel like I don't think Eclipse will do it because they're easy to counter once you realize what they're strong at. But I do think if Shimada isn't going to make it, it is going to be Eclipse.
Yeah. How about you, Lolly?
I think Eclipsed is gonna pull it out, and it's just from when we played against them, everyone expected a 4-0, and it was stupidly close and horrible.
Yeah.
But I think when they pull it together, they're a really good team, and I think after their losing streak, I think now they know they could be in a chance for the playoffs. They might pull out their ass and be like, look, we need to go back to playing how we did, and I think they can win it. But it just depends what their mentality is like as a team and how well they're keeping it together. Like, I think Houdini is the captain now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Rob and Haverpool, I believe, have both stepped down as co-captains.
Yeah. But I think, like, I've spoken to Houdini about it, and he's on the same wavelength as I am with keeping a team together. So I think he can do it. Like, I think he's definitely a good captain for them to have, especially at this point. Obviously, I want my team to keep our little streak going. I believe like my team has a good shot at doing it again this week. I feel like they're all super hyped for it. They're all pumped all the time. Well, they're constantly pumped all the time, which I think is good. We've like, even though we had a losing streak and we kind of kept it together and decided that we're just going to keep playing as a team. We're just taking this season as a get-to-know kind of season, but they're all amazing. They're just a really good... So I think we still have a shot at it. It just depends where everybody else's heads are at and what they pull out in the next 2 weeks.
And so just a side note on that, in order for Valks to make the playoffs, they'd be rooting for Shimada to lose out, which would mean Darkmount beating them this week. And I think that's going to be a hard ask.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of favors are going to be needed.
Yeah. So
just buy me a sandwich and maybe I'll consider.
Yeah. I'll send you a sandwich to lose.
Tesco meal deal.
Not Tesco. Nah, not Tesco.
No. Let's real quick move on to Division 2. As you said already, Glastonfoot is in that first spot, and there's no way for them to fall out of that. So that being said, there's 2 spots up for grabs currently held by Guyana Gate, Public Rebel. Then the next team that would be fighting for it is Dark Mountain 4th and SAG in 5th. So I'll just give my opinion real quick. I think Guyana Gates will stay in the playoffs. I'm not sure if it'll be the 2nd or 3rd spot, but I think they'll definitely hold on to a playoff spot. And the second team I will say will be in the playoffs is going to be Republic Rebels. And the reason because of that is this week, this week they play Aftermath, so there's that. But next week they play against Genjutsu, and I think that's a game that they could win. Based on the fact that Dark Mount will probably lose their game this week, and that would kind of cement them in a spot as well. So my 2 are the 2 that are currently in the spots with Guyana Gates and Republic Rebels. So why don't you guys tell me what you think?
Go on, Callum. I know you're dying to talk.
I was being polite for you fuckers. Anyway, alright, okay, I agree. Seeing how teams have played like within the past week and 2, I'd say GG are more likely to be in the 2nd spot, and I'm going all in. I'm gonna go fully for. I want STG in the 3rd spot.
Yes, I love
STG. Come on, Roxas. Just don't play hitscan on double against double shield, and you'll be fine. That's when you should be playing Sim.
We got money We got money on this one, so. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. Lolli, why don't you tell me who you think here?
See, I really want Republic to get the spot. Just the fact that Trill's gone in and been like, right, I'm gonna move over there and help them out, I feel is amazing of her to do. And my girl Eleanor's there, so I think I would always root for them. Yeah, they've got Eleanor, so I feel like they've got a really good chance at it if they just follow Trill and she takes on what she did with TLM. And we hated the fact of having to go up against TLM, and then Trill left, and I feel like that was a big part of how TLM is now. Obviously they've now got Lolli coming in, which I feel is the best captain for them at this point. But I think with Republic, I really want them to take it. And I think with Trill and Eleanor, they've got a super good chance at it. But obviously I do want SGG to carry on their hype.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Lucky?
Well, I'm gonna agree that I hope Guyana Gates stay where they are and they get it, because it's literally so good to see them, considering that how much we thought that they weren't going to make it towards the start of the season and towards the middle of the season. Mm-hmm. But the 3rd one, I actually don't know. Like, as I said, or not as I said, but as Lolli said, Republic Rebels have a decent team. But it's all good having a decent team. I think VD have a decent team. They have a great team. It matters who is more hungry, who's got the easier map set, who's got the easier match pool going into the final 2 weeks. It just depends who wants it more.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was to put on it, I would say Republic Rebels easily, because, like, as you said, they have a good hero depth, they have a good player depth. Dark Mount, they could do it, but they need a lot. STG, I'd love them to do it, but I'm not. I don't. Obviously, obviously going up against them, I want to beat them at the same point. So at that sense, if they were to beat us, God, I'd love for them to do it. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to be a fair game. Hopefully, it's going to be good, but I do think it's going to be Rebels.
Awesome. Anything you guys want to say about these standings or anything? If not, we'll move on here.
I say you can move on. We pretty much kind of touched on everything. Really.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's just quickly run over the predictions for this week. We don't have to get too in depth here, just to save a little bit of time.
Callum.
Yeah. we'll start with Zen's Garden versus Glass and Foot, and we are getting. By the way, I forgot to mention this entire podcast that we're in Rivalry Week, where let's we're gonna try to hype some of these up a little bit, maybe. But at the beginning of the season, it looked like great matchups. Obviously, now some of the matchups are a little bit less exciting than originally thought. But this one, I think if any of them were a rivalry week matchup, this would be the matchup. Zensgar versus No Banana, if we want to run it back. Um, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a great match. I said earlier, I think this is Glass and Foot's hardest match so far, like in their entire season. So, it'll be interesting to see Glass and Foot going up against a team like Zen's Garden, where Zen's Garden is, as we said, in their full form now. They're where they want to be. Going into the playoffs, they're like full steam ahead at this point. So it will be a great match, and I hope I can watch it. That being said, I have Glass and Foot winning. Glass and Foot winning 3-2 is my prediction. I think it's gonna be a really, really close match. What do you guys think?
I got 3-1.
I think 3-2 as well. I think this is going to be, as Callum touched on earlier, I think it's going to be a cheese fest.
And all of us,
not alone.
all of us predicting close games, and then there's Lolli. What do you think?
I think they're going to 4-0. I do think Glass and Foot are going to 4-0 them. Like,
Wow.
I think it's going to be tough. Like, I think it's going to be close, but I still think Glass and Foot are going to do a 4-0, as always.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of Lolli's 4-0 is not as far-fetched because, like you said, Glass and Foot, they do almost 3 scrims a week. They're mostly always on the same page. They have great communication, and plus, if you want to run Sim out Bastion, don't forget 2 great counters to the comps are Sigma and May.
Yeah.
Who do we know that plays both of those people? I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Person?
That's what I mean. If
I'm trying to
whole
remember
core
his
is
name
there...
and I just can't.
His name's just May. No. Yes, you are right. And yeah, so obviously Lolli thinks it's going to be a not a close game, but the rest of us do. Let's move on to the next one, and this is one that can get a little lopsided. It is Valk's Descent versus Genjutsu, and these two teams played for 3rd place in last season. So that's how we ended up here. I've got Valk's Descent winning 3-1. I'm just hoping that Genjutsu can pull out a map out of this one, but it's kind of hard not to predict zero here.
This is you hoping you could get that extra 1 point overtake.
Yeah, this is my far-fetched prediction to try to catch up to Callum in the standings.
Hi, Sully. How are you?
Explain to you the power of the big brain right now, Cody. Right? Historically, Valks has always beat Genjutsu 4-0. Throughout this entire season, I don't think Genjutsu have won a single map. I think they may have won 1 or 2, but not much. I don't see them pulling a miracle win out of their ass.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're going to win. I think they can win 1 map.
They've won 2 maps in their season.
Yeah, they've won 2 maps so far. I think they can win 1 map. That's what I got.
Lolli, help me out here and just don't drop my map.
I don't know. We're going to obviously do what we do every time against them. Like, I feel like they're the team we have worried about the least. But this whole season has been a shock. So I can't really prep my team for what's going to happen. They're all going off the fact that we have 4-0'd them every time we've played them. And I think my team is actually a bit stronger now than it was last time we played them in that playoffs. The people we've got in, I think, like people like Blitz and Phoenix, we've got Sane. You know, having all these people, I think, I would like to say we can 4-0 them again.
Mm-hmm.
But we never know. We don't know. We thought that with Eclipsed, and that was horrendously close.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We're hoping for it. And I think we can do it, but I've put that as a 3-1. So
There it is. What do you guys think?
It's what's the best way to put it? I think just we've been saying it every time, and I hate repeating myself, but it just feels like Jiu-Jitsu ever since probably the third place map or even the start of the season, it just literally looks like they're just so disconnected. And we all know the key fundamental to Overwatch is you play as a team, you win as a team. And if you can't get the core connected, it's not going to go well for you. And I think VD with last week's game have kind of found that switch to get them going again. And I just think it's going to be a 4-0 sweep.
Yeah, I mean, Genjutsu happened to pick up a few people, maybe getting some fresh people into the team to help them. But we'll see. Callum, what do you got here? Oh wait, did you already say your prediction? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep moving on. It's Aftermath versus Republic Rebels, and I was looking forward to this one at the beginning. Obviously, Republic is a different team now than they were at the beginning of the season, but I do have to go with it. I have Aftermath 4-0. What do you guys think?
Agreed,
yeah,
pretty
mine's
much.
the same.
It's
Yeah.
Just want to say for everyone listening, these guys did actually copy and paste my original predictions and just changed one of the emotions,
I did not.
except for Lolli. So throwing that out there for people.
No,
Wait.
I obviously think Aftermath are going to win, and I think we're just going to keep moving on with the 4-0 and keep it moving. But, Lucky, do you have something to say there?
Oh no,
So-
I was actually trying to see if she actually did, but she did because there's actually spaces. We didn't put spaces because we just copy and pasted columns.
Oh boy.
I'm changing one of my predictions now to go with full commit.
So the next match here is TLM versus SDG. This is one that I think will go a different way than you guys. Where do you guys think this is going to go here?
Well, look, okay, I'll speak first, considering I'm literally only, captain of this team 3 days. Look, I don't know exactly what this team is able to bring in terms of the inside core. Like, we all get to see the team perform on the outside. Going into this, obviously, we all know that TLM are going through a little bit of struggles. Obviously, losing Ginge and all that is a kind of a big part of the team gone. I could, it's so hard to call because I could just be biased and say, oh, TLM are going to win, easy clap. But both teams have seen both fair shares of their heartbreaks this season.
Yep.
But I still think with the elements that TLM have, like you can mention a few names like Frooms, you've got Cool, you've got I'm trying to list people off here. But we also have a few actually. There's one player I want to actually highlight, and it's actually Judge. We picked him up. I think it was last week. I've been playing with this dude.
When the first...
Yeah, Callum's been
class.
talking him up the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he is class. And this is why I think it is probably going to be a 4-0. But as I said, I'm new to this team. I can't really just say, oh, we're going to easy clap. It's going to be interesting, but I obviously need to remain hope for, obviously, my own team. So I am going to be a little bit biased with the result and say a 4-0. But as I said, it can go anyway.
What do you guys think? Callum?
I'm just fully committing. I'm going to say 4-0 STG. Full commit, lads.
Wow, okay.
I told you, I'm going all in with SUG getting into playoffs.
Yes.
It starts now. Run starts now. Don't let me down, SDG. Come on, Roxas. Come on.
I've got SDG winning 3-1 here.
Anyone?
So.
If anyone in the podcast was like, yeah, he's not gonna full commit. He got no balls. I'm committing. Come on, SDG.
Lolli, what do you think here?
I've put it as a 3-1 to TLM, but again, I obviously want Roxas to pull it out and maybe get it a bit closer. Like, I feel like I don't want to go soppy on Lolli, but I think with him being the captain, I feel like he can do a massive turnaround. Like, I feel he's a massive part of VD even being a team still. And I think with them having him as the captain, they're gonna do very well. If they all pull together and trust him as a captain and listen to what he says and what he thinks is best, then I think they could 4-0 it. Um, but I'm gonna put it as a 3-1 just because it's so close that I don't know if there's enough time to get a team that's.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping SDG can at least get a map out of it, or a map or two, maybe take it to a fifth map,
Yeah.
and see what happens.
All in.
Awesome.
Full
Yeah.
commitment.
We have two matches here left. It is Eclipsed versus Gana Gates. What do you guys think?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, I think, for me, and this is what I've always thought about Eclipse. Eclipse has two fronts of attack. We all know exactly what the white one can bring. If you can counter the white one, then it becomes very interesting. Because if you break down every fight, and nearly every fight where the white one gets focused, the white one can't really do much. And I've always noticed it as well when they're playing on the ground. They don't do well when the white one can't do free range damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it comes down to GG, or I suppose Meme. We all know Meme can pop off. It all comes down really to him if he's able to get get in those shots to take down the Pharah.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we said earlier, this match is very, very important for both teams, based on playoff standings and Eclipse trying to get into the playoffs, Gana Gates trying to remain in the playoffs. It's going to be a massive game for both of them on both sides, so it's going to be an exciting one, and I think both of them are going to have a lot of fight and a lot of determination to try to win. So I have it as a close one. I have it 3-2 Eclipsed. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a close one. What about you, Lolly?
See, I think if Eclipse pull it together and Houdini comes in and basically runs the show and gets them all as a whole, like, I think they can probably 4-0, but that is all depending on how they play as a team now. But I think they can pull out something. I think it will either go one or two ways, being a 4-0 or super close. But it just depends again on how it's being run from this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Eclipsed can get it together, then I think they've got a good shot at it. And I think right now, with playoffs being so close, that Houdini will get that fire that he gets, and he will be the main shot caller, and he'll pull it out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping. What about you, Callum?
All right, I just changed it. Like I just got a good feeling here, so I've just changed it. Right, I've put in 3-1 GG.
Oh boy.
And it's a good feeling, and whenever I had a good feeling about a scoreline, it's come true. All right.
All right.
All right. Let me explain so it just doesn't sound like a Lusky prediction.
All right, real quick. We're getting a little long here.
Right. A known problem with Eclipse is they have everyone trying to be the playmaker. Rather than having one or two playmakers following up on that, everyone on their team tries to be the playmaker. Well, with GG, they know who their main carry is. It's Meme. And remember, when we went against Eclipse, one of the two biggest things that fucked them up was my Pharah and my Hanzo. We know Nightrix can play Pharah at a decent level. We know Meme is a fucking good Hanzo. I mean, last time I screamed against him, he fucked me up on Hanzo. Kind of helps Ace a little bit. Might be a Smurf. Just throwing that a bit there. But no, he is a great Hanzo. If my Hanzo can just take out White One on Pharah and screw up Aftermath on Hollywood, he can most definitely do it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if Meme gets shut down completely and Nightrix also gets shut down, then yeah, Eclipse will win. But I can't, like I said, mentality thing coming in as well. I can't see GG taking it, and I'm just gonna stick with my gut feeling. As long as they don't get tilted within the first 1 or 2 maps, they could win it.
All right. Well, let's run through our last match real quick. It is Shimada versus Darkmount, and I have 4-0 to SS Shimada Samurais. I don't think.
God, you guys are actually predicting the SS to win. What
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, we want those points. It's coming towards the end now. We need to start taking the points seriously.
It's almost like you figure out how I get those points.
So Callum has 4-0 to Shimada. Lucky has 4-0 to Shimada. Lolli, on the other hand. What do you got?
Was your 4-0 not enough, Lolli? Did we not prove to you enough?
No, I think it's going to be a 3-2. I think it's going to go to a 5th map. I think Shimada have their core team, and I think as a team they're very good. But I think Darkmount have this sort of mentality of they want to win it, and I think if they keep that up, they might be able to get a couple maps and make you work for the win. I still think you're going to win. I think Shimada's going to win it, but I do think it might go to a 5th map.
Awesome. Yeah, I obviously love close games. I don't like seeing, so I would be hoping for that as well. Yeah. So that's all the games. That's all the predictions. Just to go over our standings, our Talon Talk prediction standings. Of course, Callum is still in 1st place. I am in 2nd place, and Lucky is in 3rd place.
Woo!
So there is that.
Maybe if you guys just stick to fully committing and just copying my predictions, you might guys just.
Well, now you
But
changed.
you would be first.
It's not exactly the same. Yes. Anyway, I don't have anything else here, unless you guys have something you want to say at the end here. Any shout outs? Anything?
Clean poopy.
Clean poopy. Shout out.
But no,
That's it. Lolli, how about you? Any shout outs? Anything you want to say?
Well, I have to shout out my whole team because they're all pinging me.
Hey.
I guarantee you,
Classic.
Tinoco is the most poking you right now, or tweeting
No,
you right now,
it's-
or whatever.
It's Blitz. Blitz is like, make sure you shout me out. And I'm like, why?
Yo, it's
But
almost
no.
like Ginger. Like Ginger would always ping me. He's like, "Yo, have you mentioned me in the podcast, man? What did you say about me?" Man? It's like, oh.
FX
I just
told me to
trolled
tell
him.
everyone that we are a cult and we're not a team anymore. So we are just a cult. I am gathering people into my server, and we're just gonna have a massive server. So that's the plan for next season. We're no longer a
Dang.
team. We are a cult.
We're a way of
I
life.
can actually see all of you guys just in like hooded robes with candlelights, just doing chanting like "ooga booga."
That's what we do before every match.
Giant campfire. Like I generally see.
Why
the
am I
Valves doing
picturing
that.
the Simpsons movie when Homer goes to year 1?
Ooga booga, ooga booga, ooga booga, ooga
You're
booga.
giving away all our secrets. That's how we got
That's-
the 4-0.
That's the big game strats right there. That's all it takes. All right. I'm gonna get right on that. Actually, we have practice tonight, so I'm gonna start our call. No. Thank you guys. Thank you, Lolli, for coming on. It's been great. It's been a great week, and I will see you guys soon.
A booga 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 wooga booga booga wooga wooga.
KVD cult.
I hope he
see you
actually
guys.
has finished now.
I can just imagine like